SMT Nation, we back. Nation, T-Mobile is set to report their Q2 earnings on July 26th, ironically on the same day as AT&T, right? And they've been known to do some interesting things. Typically, they report after the other, big guys. So it's like, usually it's Verizon, sometimes it's AT&T goes first. But then, like a week or two after, it's T-Mobile. So interesting that they're now kind of putting themselves on the same day. We've seen this now a couple of times. So maybe this is a trend to look for moving forward. But I think what it is, it's an indication of strength, right? I think they're going to be reporting some good things that investors want to see. And when we talk about operational efficiency, like what is T-Mobile doing today as a bigger company after the merger? They owe their shareholders and investors quite a bit from the corporate side. And the pressures are there, just like they are at Verizon and AT&T. All right, so ironically on the same day, but I want to talk about that and what we're going to expect to be the focus for T-Mobile at their earnings call. All right, so let's talk about that here in today's video, what it means for the company, and maybe you as a consumer and what T-Mobile is doing moving forward. All right, so link for the article from The Motley Fool will be in the description. You guys can find it there. Also in the description is the Real SMT Buy Me a Coffee link. If you want to support your creators directly, show your support for all the content here on the channel, the podcast, the live streams, the speed testing, the device reviews, the service reviews, everything that we do here on the channel. Show us some love and buy us a coffee or support us any other of the links in the description. And hopefully you guys are able to take advantage. The ticker is on. The Mint Mobile deflation promo is coming to an end. Take advantage of this deal while it's still active. $30 per month for the unlimited plan. Let's do 50% off using our promo code mintmobile.com/sneed. $30 a month, try 15. All right, so take advantage of that great deal, that value, and their legendary customer care coming with it, and you'll be supporting the channel in the process. Check them out. All right, so the most important thing for T-Mobile moving forward with respect to the investment side, right, and getting the, the support and the trust of investors, they know it's all about free cash flow. Look at what happened to AT&T's stock, after they reported Q1 earnings, and they only had free cash flow of like $1 billion, right? Estimating that they would have $16 billion for the year. It looked bad, and investors sold. There was capitulation to the rate of about 10 or 11% within that 24-hour time frame to show you how important free cash flow is in this economic environment. And T-Mobile's under those same stresses too, because that's what they told investors they would produce, is free cash flow, right? Through the Sprint acquisition and having all those assets and all those synergies. Now let's take a look. Something I find interesting, when I look at Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile in kind of this order, you see the free cash flow production. This takes into a lot of things, folks. Obviously, wireless service revenue is an important metric. It tells you basically how much money you generate from your consumer base. Right now, T-Mobile sells two different types of service, right? They sell, mobile network access traditionally, and then they also now sell 5G home internet. So their revenue is coming in just short of $62 billion, right? Very similar to what AT&T produces on the mobility side. Obviously, AT&T also sells fiber, right? So I'm not sure what that means with respect to that, if that includes business and all those things. It probably does here, but look at Verizon at $75 billion in wireless service revenues. But when you look at the free cash flow produced from those revenues, it tells a different story, right? Verizon almost doubles T-Mobile's free cash flow. And folks, this is why when it comes to the corporate side, the financial side, the profits and margin side, that's where Verizon reigns supreme, right? And even AT&T to a lesser extent, they're generating $12 billion in free cash flow estimated, right? And T-Mobile's at $8 billion. Right, so that's where T-Mobile wants to be. They want to be where AT&T is. They want to be where Verizon is. I don't know if they ever get there. I don't know. The construct of the company would probably have to change. We've already seen some of it. Right, we've seen them squeezing as much as they can out of their customers. You got to have the most expensive, 5G plus plan to get the best upgrade deals and trade-in deals. They've hit you with a bunch of new activation fees. They've revamped the plans to take value away from old plans. They've done a couple of restrictive things. They've changed pricing in order to get more profitable, and that's fine. They're making a better network, and we get it. But it's really about free cash flow at the end of the day. Look at the percentages. the service revenue to free cash flow. Verizon at 20.5%, AT&T at 20.1%, T-Mobile's at 13.6%. They probably are shooting for something closer to 14 or 15% by the end of the year. Folks, the pressure is there. So when we look at what T-Mobile's going to be focused on at their earnings, I mean, yeah, they want to show growth, and growth is important with respect to adding customers, but it really isn't about that. Having more customers does not necessarily help free cash flow, right? Obviously, you've got to generate revenues, but your percentages, your margins have to improve to show growth in the free cash flow. Because, you know, they've got a construct of plans where in order for T-Mobile to be cheaper, you know, they've got to give you a free line. You know, so it's like the third line is free, you know, when you switch from AT&T and Verizon or whatever. And that makes it cheaper, and they got tax and fees. That helps the value prop, you know, and those kind of things. But folks, this is going to be the key factor for investors. What you want to watch for as a consumer, I think, is more about, you know, what they're going to do to your plan costs moving forward. Like, they just revamped plans. In order to change this free cash flow, how are they going to do it? Right? Are they going to keep changing the customer care structure? Are they going to keep changing the retail structure? You know, now you can't even go to a T-Mobile store. They don't even want you to upgrade there as an existing customer, right? They want you to do it all online on the phone and all these other things. So the company has changed in order to meet the growing demand and the pressures from the investor. So this video is twofold. It's discussing T-Mobile's emphasis, the investor piece side of it, the pressures of shareholders. But I think also as a consumer, it indicates there's more changes probably on the way in order for them to get where AT&T and Verizon are. Expect it. Don't be shocked when it happens. We've been calling this for a few years now. Since the merger cleared, it's only ramped up. There's still room for them to make changes that will make your experience as a T-Mobile customer different. I'm not judging them as a company. I'm saying that this is what we're going to expect to see for the rest of 2023, 2024, and 2025. And don't forget, folks, their CapEx is about to get reduced, right? They've done most of their 5G UC build. They're just kind of wrapping up the last, 20, 30 million pops or so. That's eventually going to stall out. And then they're going to have to start reinvesting into DoD and C-band that they purchased. They're going to start that, I think, next year. We'll see, right? But these things are factors. Tell me what you guys think of this, right? Let's go ahead. All the real ones know what I'm talking about. Hashtag T-Mobile. For those of you that watch this all the way through, give me your thoughts and opinions on this, how this plays out in the future. Love to hear what you have to say on this. You all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.